Hey guys, Simon here. Today I want to talk a little bit about racism in China. Now originally I planned to do this topic by myself, maybe do some research on the internet and then combine my past experience and knowledge to talk about how racism looks like in China. But then I realized because I am Han Chinese, which represent the majority of Chinese people here, so my view and perspective about racism in China could also be limited and biased. So then I was like, why not just invite somebody who actually really experienced racism in China to talk about this issue with me, so can give you guys a better understanding and more comprehensive perspective. So right now I'm heading to Pudong area to meet one of the YouTubers here in China. His name is Flagg. I believe he's African American who has been living in China for quite a few while now. So yeah, right now I'm just going to meet him and have a casual talk, and let's see how it goes. Alright guys, I'm waiting for Flagg right now. He should be here in any second. Hey Flagg, how's it going, man? Actually Flagg, I already introduced you a little bit before I come here, but okay. I still would like to hear from you. Maybe you can, just give us a little bit
of introduction, but
that's
okay.
fine. Yeah.
I've been here. My name is Randy Flagg. That is my moniker. That's what I use. Okay. I've been in China for about over 8 years. I have a wife and family here. I'm a writer by trade. Okay. I used to be a teacher, but I've stopped doing that, and I'm just focused on writing and e-commerce.
What's your overall experience living in China? Like positive, negative, and
I'm gonna be very truthful. I love Shanghai. Okay, so I've been in Shanghai for 8 years. So what I can speak about is what I'm speaking about today is about Shanghai, and my experience here. Like, I love this city. I feel like I'm Batman, you know what I mean? And yeah, like you're looking over the city, you're at the top of the rooftop, and
all
you're
those
like
skyscrapers, fancy stuff.
Yeah, this is my city.
It's true, yeah.
And I don't mean this is my city like but I mean this is my city because I love this city, and I just have very good words about this city. Okay, so most of my experience here has been good, but as you may know, however, there are a few negative things that set me back, right? And like you, I do have a YouTube channel. Correct. And I use that channel to talk about these things, because in America, if you have problems and you have like issues with society, or you have problems within yourself, you can go to a therapist, you can go to a psychologist, you can speak to them, and then maybe these things will be resolved. In China, I don't know, they do have them, they have international hospitals that do that, but they're crazily expensive, and it's not a social norm in China. So me being black or Hayran or whatever, I do have problems here, based on color, based on the fact that I'm black, based on the fact that I'm a foreigner, based on the fact that I'm American. So these are three kind of things that I have to deal with being here. And you really can't speak to anyone. I'm married to a Chinese woman. I can't speak about these things. I speak about, but she don't understand the problem that I have. So the only way that I can kind of find a catharsis is just through talking with an invisible audience that I imagine in America. I make a video and I say, I'm in a bar and I got a beer, and the YouTube audience is the bartender, and I just speak my truth, and that's it.
As an African American, do you feel like you get treated differently from many other foreigners just because of your skin color in China? Can you share with us some of some experience? That would be great.
So before, I used to live in Dalian.
Okay, so it's north part of China, a little bit north, right? Yeah,
so I lived in Liaoning, it's in Dalian's in Liaoning province. And I used to work there. This was 8-9 years ago. And I wanted to make the transition to Shanghai because I was working in a place in Dalian. It was called Shane English or something.
I see.
And the English centers at that time were very limited. So I couldn't just go into a school and say, listen, I'm an English teacher, because before I used to be an English teacher. You couldn't go there because at that time there was no black people.
I see.
So no matter what, even if you graduated from Harvard, you went to go for and try to get a job. First, they don't believe you. Even if you bring them the certificate, they won't believe you. Okay? And then second, they're like, English is a white language. What are you doing trying to teach it? I got a whole bunch of interviews. And at those times, it was too troublesome to send pictures. You could only send resume. You don't send pictures at that time. It's not like this, what we got now.
Correct.
So I went there, and I remember this was the summertime. I spent all my money to get there. I spent like 5 days in the hotel. I had like 5 interviews. The first school I go to is this tutoring center. And I said, yeah, my name is Randall Fields. You know, we spoke over the phone. Oh, you're American? I'm like, yeah, I'm American. Oh, the positions have all been filled.
I see.
Oh, the positions...
So
but you told me everything's open. Yeah, go ahead.
They don't even give you a chance to actually introduce yourself, but...
This, as far as my name is Randall, whatever.
I see.
Right? Then they say, you're American? I say, yes, I'm American. I already knew, but I thought Shanghai was more open. Okay, so I didn't mention the fact that I was black, which I should have done. But then when you think about it as a foreigner or as an American or as a Westerner, you think, why do I have to say the fact that I'm whatever ethnicity? I'm going to say, yo, I'm American, I got an American passport, whatever. So at these times, I always had to carry my passport everywhere.
So you have to prove that you're really American.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
And if you don't, and I didn't have it as bad as Asian people, you know, like American Chinese. They have it worse than I do. So you can imagine this is an American Chinese, you know, that can't speak Chinese. So when I went there, they say this is what it is. Everything's full. And then if you try to say, oh, is it because I'm black? They blame it on you. They say, what do you mean? We're not racist. What are you talking about? And I was like, I want to speak to the manager because I know this is look, I'm overqualified for the position. I purposely picked places where I'm kind of like slightly overqualified, not a lot overqualified, slightly overqualified. I'll lower my salary and slightly overqualified. So you got to pick me, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I said, yo, give me the manager. I want to speak to the manager. Oh, he's not here right now. So we arguing, whatever. This is how it goes for most of them. Then who comes up is a white dude come out. So I'm like, oh, good. And he's speaking, right? And when I hear him speak, I'm like, oh, he's American. Yeah, he's from... Most definitely he will have my side. Yeah. Right? So I'm like, okay, oh, good. The white man come through. Right? So the white man come through. And I'm like, I think I'm being discriminated against because I said I'm American. They said come immediately. I spend the train ticket to come here. And now you saying that your positions are filled. And then what does he say? He says the positions are filled. We're sorry. In front of her. But then he takes me around the back and is like, oh, I'm sorry. You know, the Chinese are like this. This is what you got to do. And it's like, what happens, what they do is they'll be like, you know, the Chinese are racist. So they put all the blame on Chinese people so I could be mad at the Chinese people, right? When you right there, you can make a change. You can say something. You can say something because they see you as a deity. You're seen as a god. Like at that time, they're seen as God, not now. They're seen as disease. Now you're like, this is the best time for me because I'm equal to the rest of the white people. You know, because everybody's like, coronavirus, it's a coronavirus. So when they look at me these days, I'm like, I'm equal, I'm fine. Today I'm fine with what's going on. So that's how it went. Like that time I spent all my money. I went to 5 different places. These are big places. These are places like that you would know, like Disney English. So you had Disney English just starting up. And I'm like, Disney can do this? So you don't want black people in Disney. It's local, so nobody cares, you know. Just like the McDonald's in Guangzhou.
Yeah, they did
recently, right?
put up a sign and prevent
Right.
black people from coming inside the restaurant.
Right. But you cannot say anything to those because it's localized. So it's localized McDonald's. So McDonald's said our hands are tied. It's okay to practice racism here. If you did that in the U.S., McDonald's would be shut. If that happened, no blacks in McDonald's, McDonald's is done.
Yeah.
Okay?
It will cause huge backlash.
Class action lawsuits from all sides. Okay? So that's why many companies come to China, because they know they could get away with these kind of things. Right? They go to Asia, they can get away with many things. When that happened, my feelings were hurt, man. Like, I spent a lot of money, and I didn't get any results. 5. They all said the same thing. Not 5 white people didn't come out. It was just like 2. One was the white person tried to like rationalize with me and say it's the Chinese people's fault. It's this. I can't do anything about it. Right? That's his bag. So he's trying to make his bag. So I understand. But at least you gotta say something or do something. Something, right? So this was happening, and then the second one is like it was like the white dude was in a concerted effort with the Chinese to bring me down. Now, what was very ironic was that the white dude had like a crazy German accent. You can't understand what he was saying.
So he's not actually native English speaker.
Right, so he's not a native speaker, and he's making a lot of mistakes in his vernacular, in his language. And I'm like, this is the guy that you chose to be your manager, and he's the English teacher, and he's teaching conversational English. He's not teaching, it's not grammar. He's teaching conversational English.
Just have a little interruption.
Sorry.
Because I actually hear similar stories with my foreign friends before.
Right.
So some of the English center, they will hire white people, non-native English speakers, but as long as they are white, they can get a job because parents saw those white people. They will have the assumption that because they are white and they probably come from the West, so they probably speak perfect English, even they actually don't.
Exactly.
So I think a lot of English center, they use white people as like marketing tools to attract a lot of students.
Yes.
So because I have some Asian American friends, they feel frustrated.
They get it worse than I do. They get it very bad. For some reason, the Chinese parents, they don't believe that there can be an American Chinese that cannot speak Chinese. He can only speak English. And that's the fact that he's probably maybe 2 generations removed, 3 generations removed. These Chinese Americans, they came during the gold rush. This was the 1800s, right? They came during the gold rush of America. Those are 1800s. So maybe the parents the parents don't speak Chinese, maybe, but they speak English, right? The great-great-grandparents speak Chinese, but the kids don't speak Chinese. They've been westernized, okay? These are the perfect people to teach English to your children, all right? Because they kind of have the culture, they got the best of both worlds. So when I see this industry being taken over, when I came here, I thought in 15, 20 years, it would be taken over by Asian Americans. And then I would have to leave, and I would understand that, right? But it has not. It's the same thing. Like, to this day, if me and a white guy go into an interview, they're going to choose a white guy. There was one time I had a connection with the woman, okay? Because I had worked for her before, right?
Right.
So she's like, here's a job, take it. Okay? I went there. It's a very famous English school. And it was the head. She's the head of the English department in this training school. I went there, and I was like, okay, yeah, I got the job, right? Because she gave me the job, whatever. We had an interview, whatever. So after I got the job, because I got the connection to get the job, I went in with the fellow teachers. All the fellow teachers are all white, posh, English, Canadian, very posh people. And I said, do you know what she said about you? And I was like, no, I don't. She seems like a nice lady.
Yeah.
She said, yeah, we're going to have some new additions. But I think it's going to be a good addition. We got a foreigner here. He's black. but he's intelligent. Okay, he's black, but he's intelligent. This is the head of the English department inside the training school. So it's like, he's black, but he's intelligent. And that was the first, I guess, introduction that they had of me, was that I'm black, but I'm intelligent. So I kind of kept that with me, and it's like, it hurts. The reason why it hurts me is because I put her on equal standing as me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? See, you have a roach on the ground. The roach, whatever he believes, you don't care. You just stomp him.
Yeah,
he has no thought process. You don't care.
Yeah.
So those people who don't care, when they say, I don't care what people think about me, I don't care. I care because I put you on equal standing as me. Mm-hmm. That's why I care. If I don't care, that means I don't give a hell about you. That means you're the lowest of the low. Mm-hmm. Your feelings don't matter to me. Mm-hmm. Right? So, I always have to tell people I care. I do care. Mm-hmm. And it hurts me when people say these type of things. It hurts me every time. I think it's better from before. So that's what I want to bring up. Like, it's better now. Like, it's much better than like 8-10 years ago. Because now, like, if you see, like, there's black people, South Africans working in the schools. Mm-hmm. They don't do that like before. Like 10 years ago, like 8 years ago, like when I was here, you couldn't get a job in Shanghai. It was like Singapore. For black, like, I don't know if you know about Singapore, but for black people, Singapore is crazy. You can't get a job. It's hard. Okay. So, like, Shanghai was like Singapore. Like, they just shut you out completely. Mm-hmm. Okay? But somehow I got in. So I tried the first time. I failed. And then, like, 2 or 3 years later, I made sure I had a connection that knew I was black, that knew everything. Mm-hmm. And then that's how I got in. And then, like 7-8 years later, I was working in universities. I was working in all kinds of very prestigious places.
Yes.
I even worked in Pinghe. I don't know if you know Pinghe. It's like one of the best bilingual schools in Shanghai. Mm-hmm. I worked in there. No racism at all. It just changed. Like, because a year in Shanghai is like 5 years somewhere else. So they always changing, and it's for the better. So people ask me why I stay here, and I say because I don't have to wait 20 years for a change.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's also a lot of foreigners. They keep living in China because they see great improvement probably within a very short period of time.
Yes.
I think racism in China nowadays, I think it's mildly improved than like 10 years ago, because back then we don't have a lot of foreigners living in China. So people from inside of China, like every Chinese people, they don't get a chance to like actually know those foreigners or those people from different race. So just take me as an example. Like when I grow up, I never see any white or black people before I enter college. Maybe once in a while in my local community, and I will say hi to them, and that's about it. All my knowledge is coming from like TV,
television,
from newspaper, and from movie. So we will have assumption or some certain type of stereotype, and which might influence our judgment.
When I first came to China, the internet was just starting. There was no YouTube. Mm-hmm. If you want to know information about China, you have to read a book like Peter Hessler's Rivertown, Wild Swans, like these types of books, right, which paint a different picture of China. So when I came here, I didn't know anything about how they treat black people. I just came. I had a friend who lived in China. He got me a position in the university. That's how I got here first. Okay, so when I got here, I just wanted something different from America. I knew about communism, I knew about all these things, but I was just too curious about China. It was very much positive things in a black community, because that's where I would stay mostly, about China. It was black people treat Chinese very well in the black community in America. So you look at films, we hold Bruce Lee, like to the very high standard.
Yeah.
Okay, even though it's stereotypical, it's very stereotyped. Okay, you got the kung fu and all, but it's a very positive influence and stereotype. When I went to China, people was afraid of me. It was like I was disgusting, when I first came. That kind of hurt me.
So you can actually tell from their like action and the way they look.
It wasn't like the TV. It wasn't like the books. But the books never mentioned that. So it was the TV said. But I was curious to know what because you couldn't ask somebody say how does it be black over there. Nobody had that. That was on one hand. The other hand was like the next like 3 weeks there was a girl. Then we became girlfriend and boyfriend. And she's a beautiful Chinese girl, very beautiful, very nice. It's like on one hand, they scared of me, but on this hand, we going skating and then she could kiss me in front of everybody. I was like, oh my God, you can't do that. She was like, it's fine, So like, I guess she overcame some fear or something, and then she started dating me. She overcame something, and then we started dating for like a year, and she was a very good person. Like she introduced me to her parents, and her parents are accepting of me. We eventually broke up. She moved to Japan.
I see.
But like I tried to take that one experience as opposed to the other bad experiences. So this was a good experience.
I see.
Yeah. China's a great. If I got to do it all over again, I'd probably do China again. But
okay,
I would.
That's great to hear.
But I would leave earlier. So I don't know if I would get married. I would probably go to another country.
Are your kids like going to school right now?
No, yeah, that's one of the reasons. Like,
Yeah, I'm
because
curious
of
to
this
ask.
kind of
Yeah, education here is more
bureaucracy.
challenging.
It's like they can't go to school because you didn't write the name in English or something like this. My wife doesn't have a hukou.
Oh, like Shanghai resident, right?
Yeah,
she doesn't
don't
have
have
one.
a
So like, your kids can't go to public school in Shanghai.
Right, they started. My first kid went to kindergarten. And I find that the education system's not very good. They kept yelling at my daughter, and my daughter's different, because she looked different.
Yeah.
So they're going to focus on her. So, if you got kids and you're in China, it's better you do the homeschooling. Right?
But I don't think in China homeschool is.
I got American system.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we pay money.
Okay.
And she's been doing it for 3 years.
Okay, that's good.
She's as smart as any kid. Only thing is, it lacks the social structure. So she don't know how to be social with other kids because you are teaching. One kid, one teacher.
Okay, so she doesn't have actually any peers going to school with her. So.
Exactly. This is very important. So she's book knowledge. She's good, but socially she's inept. She's not good enough. Okay. So that's something you gotta worry about when you go abroad. These bilingual schools don't need really hukou,
But it's crazy expensive, I heard, right?
Right, very expensive, and they're way off and you gotta sleep there. Like the kids
like
gotta
boarding school.
Yeah, you don't send a 6-year-old to boarding school. You can't do that. I see a lot of parents here. They send their kids to like 4 years old, 5 years old. They sleeping in boarding school. They're gonna be dysfunctional. You can't do that, So we decide I teach her because I was a teacher before. So I teach her. They guide you, right? And I figure I could teach her to probably the 5th grade, but then she's gonna have to get a formal education because then it becomes kind of too difficult for me to do that. So things are definitely changing now, and it's changing for the better. Now, if you ask me, should you come to China now? If you're black, if you have thick skin, you can come here. It's more open than when I was here. And when I was here, it was unbearable. Okay? I was embarrassed on a daily basis. But now it has become better. Shanghai it's like a different freaking world than the rest of China. So if you're gonna come to China, I would go to the big city like Shanghai. Probably not Guangzhou. They probably arrest your ass. But Shanghai, Chengdu, Beijing, but if you don't like the cold, black folks don't like cold. Don't go to Beijing. Shanghai, Chengdu, Yunnan, Kunming. Chinese going to Africa, I accept, okay? But the way that Chinese are treating Africans in Africa is unacceptable. I've seen it. And I think one of the reasons is why the worst educated Chinese are going there. It's not highly educated Chinese going to these places. I don't know if you agree with that or not.
Probably. I would say most people, they coming from lower class.
Right.
So they probably don't have any idea of like how to actually respecting other people
People's
from
culture.
different race, different culture. So yeah, racism in China also come from our education system, because throughout our education system, like I go to kindergarten to all the way to college in China, never once they actually teach us we should respect people from different culture. It's all about our culture, like our 5,000 years of rich history.
But that's Zhongguo,
It's all about
right?
us, yeah.
Zhongguo means middle.
We never teach our students we should also respect people with different culture, with people with different racial group.
Yeah.
So that also creates some issues. People are being ignorant about like how to actually deal with people from different racial groups. I think that's pretty much enough for this video.
That's political.
Actually, we will do another collaboration on Flagg's channel. So if you are interested, go to his channel and check this out. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today. So anything else to add on?
Nah, you just let me run my mouth.
Great. All right, see you guys
Flagg,
next time.
son.
Bye bye.